The season wakes, well, it does indeed, but we've got the small matter of team presentations first. And today, it's Ducati Day, one that's been in the calendar for a very long time, and it's sure to be absolutely sensational as well. We'll be seeing exactly what goes on in about half an hour's time in Italy, but for the time being, make sure that you get in touch with us, use the chat, we'll be reading all of your comments, and they're already coming through. Dream Team 2026. Well, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. We did talk about this a lot last year. Excited. Me too, genuinely. We talked about the Dream Team being Ducati Lenovo last year. It didn't work out quite like that, did it? At the end of the day, we saw Marquez running away with it, and Pecco, well, he had some struggles indeed over the course of the year, but some bright moments as well. Let's take a look at the team presentation calendar then in 2026. We've already had Pramac, and we've had VR46 and Aprilia as well. Now, we're looking forward to Ducati Lenovo team. That's coming up in just about half an hour. And then we've got on the 21st of January, Yamaha coming up, and Trackhouse as well on the 21st. A dual presentation for the two KTM teams on the 27th, Cressini on the 31st of January, and then Honda beginning with LCR on the 1st of February. And on the 2nd, it's Honda Castrol. But today is Ducati's day, as we mentioned earlier. What's it going to be like? Well, I'm sure we're going to be seeing an awful lot of red. Let's take a look at Ducati's year in 2025, just to get a bit of taste for it. Ducati always scintillating on track in that magnificent red. We'll be seeing more of it in 2026. Well, that remains to be seen, but it's very likely, isn't it? Let's be honest. An absolutely incredible campaign for Ducati last year. Marc Marquez, as I mentioned just moments ago, running away with it. 11 wins. It was absolutely incredible from the Spaniard. Will he be able to repeat that tour de force in 2026? That's the question that everyone is going to be asking themselves, and then whether Bagnaia is going to be able to return to the winning ways which we saw in 2022 and 2023. On the ground in Madonna di Campiglio is my colleague Chris Jordan, and I believe he can tell us a bit about the atmosphere and how important this day is. Chris.
Yeah, very good morning to you, Connor, and a good morning to everybody watching from home. Ciao a tutti, benvenuto a Madonna di Campiglio, and what a location this is for the 2026 Ducati Lenovo team presentation. Now their annual destination when they reveal their liveries, and it is a big year for Ducati in 2026. We can just take a quick little look around before we get into the full story of their history, and just take a look at all the skiers going up and down there. The snow is just about falling here too, but I mentioned it is a big year 2026 for Ducati. That is because it is their centenary year, so 100 years now for the factory. It began all the way back in 1926 with the Cavalieri Ducati family founding the factory in Bologna. Then we take a look at their racing history. That began in 1947 with bicycles, of all things, before they motorized them in 1951 and got into the road racing circuits. Then in the late 50s, the 60s saw Ducati take a break from racing championships, but that break did not last long, coming back in the 70s and 80s. Then they got a taste of success, of big success in 1990 in the World Superbike Championship. As we just take a look at some of the displays here. That World Superbike Championship came in 1990 on the Ducati 851 with French rider Raymond Roche. And well, where would they go next? Where could Ducati go next? Well, of course, it is to MotoGP. In 2003, they joined the MotoGP World Championship, I should say, with Troy Bayliss and Loris Capirossi as their rider lineup. And the first win came in Barcelona at the Catalan GP for Loris Capirossi. 2007 then was the big one for Ducati. Casey Stoner winning the World Championship 15 years later, a second World Championship came from Pecco Bagnaia, but that was a long 15 years. The likes of Andrea Dovizioso going close, Jorge Lorenzo, Andrea Noni, Valentino Rossi, of course. None of those riders could win a World Championship with Ducati. But in 2022, it was Pecco Bagnaia who delivered their second world title. And since then, the Bologna Bullets have been pretty much unstoppable. Bagnaia went back-to-back in 2023. Jorge Martin, of course, winning the title on a factory Ducati bike in 2024, albeit on the Pramac independent team. Well, in 2025, I don't think I need to remind you guys, but it was Marc Marquez picking up that 7th world title last season, and he is coming into this one as the defending world champion. So 100 years of history, the best of that racing history has come in the last 5 years. Will we see something similar in 2026? Connor, I'm just going to pass it back to you for now, and we can get a little bit more into the future and what 2026 holds very shortly.
Chris, what an incredible history lesson that was, and I can hear the ambient sound as well. People are starting to go into the building. What's the atmosphere like? Is it exciting? Is it tense? Tell us a bit about what it's like there in Madonna di Campiglio.
Yeah, atmosphere here is building. Both riders have just arrived. A little bit of excitement for, of course, seeing Marc Marquez, the 7-time world champion, and Pecco Bagnaia, the 2-time world champion. But I wouldn't say it's tense, Connor. I think it's a matter of excitement, particularly around the livery. As I mentioned, it's 100 years. Are we going to see a new livery? It's hard to think of a Ducati without thinking of red. So we don't expect that to change, but we do expect some sort of note for the centenary year here.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Chris. We'll catch up with you later, and you can keep us informed on exactly what's going on in Madonna di Campiglio. Chris Jordan there with a fascinating history lesson about the origins of Ducati and 100 years of the Bologna factory. You can see there as well, the season launch is coming up on the 7th of February in Kuala Lumpur. Last year we did it for the very first time at MotoGP in Bangkok, and it was obviously as exciting as you would imagine any MotoGP event to have been. And this time around it's going to be bigger and it's going to be better in Kuala Lumpur. So that's one to make sure that you put into your calendar. Let's go red Ducati. Well, they don't need to go red, they already are. But absolutely, and really appreciate that little love heart emoji as well. Hoping for epic battle this year with a bit of fire. Well, it's MotoGP, anything can happen, and I'm sure we'll be having epic battles on track all throughout the year. MotoGP, can't wait to see the exciting liveries. Well, us neither. And as Chris mentioned there, whether there will be a little detail for the 100-year anniversary of the factory, well, we'll have to wait and see. It's coming up very shortly, but just prior to that, let's take a look at the documentary that MotoGP put together. Marc Marquez, all on red, celebrating his incredible campaign in 2025.
You feel that something big can happen. Last bet, all in red, all in red.
Marquez is victorious here.
Hey, Ducati.
If I can overtake him, I will try.
Oh, they touched.
We are quite smart enough.
Pecco Bagnaia has crashed out. Down and well and truly out. Last and lost.
We are here to catch results.
It's not easy.
Marc Marquez wins. He reigns in red. Marc Marquez has been supreme.
Sit him there in a chair and say, we are brothers. This is racing.
Oh, contact between Alex Marquez and Marc Marquez.
We shake the hand, and that's it.
Alex Marquez is a MotoGP winner.
No lo vas a conseguir. Dame, hermano. Estoy como un rey.
Marc Marquez all on red. Well, it was a gamble that paid off for the man from Cervera. We have a poll coming up as well. Will Marc Marquez win his 8th MotoGP title in 2026? In the chat, write yes if you believe he will. Write no if you don't think he's capable of doing it. You'd have to be very bold to suggest that Marc Marquez isn't capable of winning an 8th title. And of course, that would mean equaling Valentino Rossi, or beating him rather. So that would be absolutely sensational for the history of the sport as well, especially given the rivalry between those two. One duo who aren't necessarily rivals, they are teammates, of course, is Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez. Let's take a look at their relationship since Marc joined Ducati.
Hey, ciao. 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 Come va? Ciao. Ciao, Pecco.
We have a good relationship, teammate relationship, and this also helps the team atmosphere.
He just adapt perfectly to the team, and we are working in the same way.
Yeah.
We are speaking a lot about more things, not just bikes. Matrimonio impegnativo no?
No.
Accidenti.
Facile. Niente, un giorno e mezzo è stato
Sei andato a fare le prove per il tuo?
Caglia.
Absolutely loves to see these videos of Marc and Pecco getting on like that. Maybe it's a relationship that we didn't expect to flourish the way it has, but it's been really incredible to see them both getting on. Marc Marquez, then we can see him there after putting it all on red. What a success the 2025 campaign was as well for Marc Marquez. Absolutely incredible. Whether he's able to repeat the success of this year, well, it remains to be seen, but he was absolutely sensational last year. I mean, 11 wins. He was running away with the title, didn't need to participate again with 5 Grand Prix to go. We rarely see that kind of domination in this sport, especially because we'd been blessed really with battles right until the end. I mean, if we look back to 2024 with Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin, of course, right down to the wire, and in the previous season in 2023 as well. But Marc just took the entire season by storm, didn't he? I mean, we saw a bit of what he was capable of when he moved to Gresini from Honda. He did win 3 races that year, but you wouldn't necessarily have expected that that would mean that in 2025, he could win 11 races, and he did it right from the start. If we cast our minds back to Thailand, right at the beginning, he just demonstrated his absolute dominion of that Ducati bike, and absolutely incredible form as well, right from the off. I mean, there were so few hiccups for Marc. Obviously, we saw in Austin that he crashed out, but he was running away with it even then, and everyone else must have been watching on and thinking, Marc is back, and back in such a tremendously dramatic fashion as well. Absolutely incredible. And we can obviously see that he went through so much as well. I don't think any rider had more of a gap between Marc's last title in 2019 and then winning again in 2025. Just showing that the talent is absolutely permanent there for Marc Marquez. He was just so impressive, and having overcome everything that he's had to deal with as well, those injuries, the intent to return, failing to really do so, and then obviously, unfortunately, finding that Honda was slipping behind their competitors with the likes of Yamaha, obviously with Fabio Quartararo, and then Ducati entering into this phase of absolute technical mastery, and no one really has been able to catch up with Ducati for the time being. Let's go back to Madonna di Campiglio. We are with Chris, I do believe. Chris, Campioni in pista, Madonna di Campiglio in Trentino. What's the latest on the ground?
Yeah, we're just moments away now, Connor, and just there's a little bit of a buzz outside the building here, but they're slowly filtering their way into the auditorium where the GP26 will be revealed. Of course, it is a big season now for Ducati. One might feel, given their dominance in recent years, this could be another title. They will start the season as the red-hot favourites, both the Teams Championship and the Riders' Championship in the form of Marc Marquez. 2027 then has the regulation changes coming in, so that could even the playing field. So this could be perhaps a last opportunity. Now, of course, it would take a fool to discount Ducati out of the running in 2027 and without even a wheel on the ground just yet. But it is a big opportunity this year to add another title to their collection. Just to pick up on a couple of points you were saying, of course, Pecco Bagnaia didn't have the greatest year last year. We were expecting the dream team in 2025, but it really just turned into the Marc Marquez show. MotoGP in 2025, particularly on the factory Ducati team. There were moments, glimmers of hope, of course, throughout the season for Bagnaia. Victory in Coda, but of course he picked up the pieces as Marquez fell out of the race. And then there was Japan, where he dominated the entire weekend, and we all thought he had finally turned a corner. He had finally gelled with the GP25, but it wasn't to be. He didn't even finish a race. I think there were 5 races after Japan last year, and he failed to see the checkered flag in any of Sunday's Grand Prix. He did win a sprint in between, of course, but points were on offer at a minimum for Bagnaia. So he is out for redemption in 2026. He will hope to hit the ground running. All eyes will be on Bagnaia in Sepang and in Buriram for the tests to see how he gels with the 2026 machine. On the other side of the box then, of course, is the 7-time world champion Marc Marquez. I say eyes will be on Bagnaia. Of course they're going to be on Marc Marquez as he looks to go ahead of Valentino Rossi in the overall Premier Class titles list. Both sit on 7 Premier Class titles, one behind Giacomo Agostini. So Marquez surely motivated by the thought he can go ahead of his old rival Valentino Rossi and then level up the score with the all-time Italian great Giacomo Agostini. Now, Marquez is of course coming back from an injury. Hopefully he has recovered fully, of course, but we will hear from him very soon. Probably the next time you do hear from me, I'll be speaking with Mark and I will be speaking with Pecco, getting their thoughts on the new livery, getting their thoughts on how the off-season went, the time to reflect, and how the 2026 campaign is going to go. But for now, Conor, I'm going to pass it back to you, and we'll see you very shortly.
Chris, just before you go there, it would be absolutely seismic, as you mentioned, if Mark were able to achieve this historic potential 8th title. Do you feel like he's going to be able to do it? Can I get you to take a position on this, however controversial it might be?
Yeah, I don't think it's controversial at all to say that Marc Marquez is starting this season as the red-hot favourite. He had the title wrapped up by Japan last season, didn't participate then in any races after Indonesia, picking up that injury after a collision on the opening lap with Marco Bezzecchi. It's hard to look past Marc Marquez. He is one of the all-time greats. There's so much talent out on that grid, but Marc Marquez is one of the all-time greats. One caveat perhaps you could say is that the likes of Aprilia, the likes of KTM have very much closed the gap on Ducati, and we saw that in the last rounds of 2025. So if they can, and of course there is the engine freeze and the development freeze coming into this season, so if they can continue inching their way towards the Ducatis, we might see a few surprises this year, but it's hard to see anybody dethroning Marquez this year.
Thanks a lot, Chris. We'll let you get inside there because it is looking very, very chilly there in the Dolomites. We'll be hearing from Chris as soon as we can when we get the latest from what's going on inside at the Ducati Lenovo team presentation. So we've got to look at Pecco Bagnaia as well because we've been talking a lot about Mark. Let's take a look at Pecco's season in 2025. And it was a peculiar campaign, I think it's fair to say.
Pecco Bagnaia, he starts the counter-attack here, takes a first victory of the season.
As that's Pecco Bagnaia now on the floor. A whole Grand Prix to forget for Pecco.
Here comes Bagnaia. Oh! Bagnaia bombs off the podium in Mugello. Bagnaia line, he has delivered a blockbuster lap time. It's the first ever 1:42 lap here. He's back, pole position, sprint victory double. Pecco Bagnaia will win the Japanese Grand Prix. Bagnaia blasts the sprint here in Sepang.
Pecco Bagnaia then, a peculiar campaign in 2025. He didn't start off too negatively, really. He was obviously outclassed by Marc Marquez right from the off. And we also saw Alex Marquez having a sensational beginning to 2025 in Thailand. But Pecco still finished on the podium. He finished on the podium quite frequently, but then he just seemed to drop off, and nothing really was the way he wanted it to be. It's really difficult to see exactly what happened. I mean, people talked about his faith in the front end, and obviously other riders were struggling with the Ducati. Of course, Fabio Di Giannantonio on the same bike as Pecco in theory, and was just unable to get the best out of it as well. The only rider who was capable of really delivering on it was, of course, Marquez. But we are looking at Pecco Bagnaia there with some special livery at the Valencia test at the end of last year, just celebrating, as Chris mentioned, 100 years of Ducati. And I have to say, every time Ducati come out with a new livery, whether it's for a special occasion, we saw it briefly in that video we just saw as well in the Mugello race, they're just instant classics. They are absolutely beautiful. This one as well in the Valencia test, incredible. And then put some minds back to, I think it was 2024, when Ducati were racing with the blue in homage to the Italian national football team. Well, it was just absolutely incredible. But yeah, we are looking at Pecco Bagnaia here, the two-time world champion in MotoGP, looking to get back to his best in 2026. He'll be tremendously frustrated with the way that the last campaign went, because beyond anything else, there was just a lack of consistency. And then at the end of the season, well, Bagnaia was almost as if he wasn't even competing. He could have finished third in the rankings, but he ended up behind an Aprilia in the shape of Marco Bezzecchi and a KTM in Pedro Acosta. And again, as Chris mentioned earlier when we were just speaking to him, those two are going to be coming out swinging in 2026. They'll have built their confidence given the campaign, and now Pecco Bagnaia looks more beatable than ever before, but he has had these 2 months to reset. The bike, of course, will be different. He's got the likes of Gigi Dall'Igna working on that, making sure that that machine is going to be a machine that can deliver for Pecco Bagnaia in the coming year. And you have to say, you don't get to the top of motorsport if you aren't mentally capable of dealing with the stress and the pressure that battling at the top and having these kind of setbacks can mean. I mean, I think in this video, we don't have it with sound, but Pecco just says, migliore, it's better. And that's what he's going to be hoping for, that the bike is one that he can really get the best out of in 2026. And you're going to want to be there. You're going to want to be there watching on and be part of the show. So make sure you get your tickets for a MotoGP event anywhere in the world, whether it's the closest one to you or the one that's furthest away. If it's a destination location or anywhere. I mean, MotoGP being at the circuit is absolutely incredible. There's nothing quite like it. The noise, the excitement, the atmosphere. So do be part of it and get your ticket, because we're going to be in for a real show in 2026. So let's have a look at some of the contenders according to Marc Marquez.
Will be an interesting 2026 season. Aprilia is growing a lot.
Marco Bezzecchi wins.
KTM with Acosta.
Pedro Acosta does take a stunning second.
Honda every time is closer and closer. They need a massive step. Bestial, tío. Yamaha is struggling a bit more, but it's Yamaha.
Fabio Quartararo, you absolute superstar.
From Alex, you can expect everything. Finishing second in the championship, he will be one of the title contenders.
Alex Marquez has sprinkled some magic on the Malaysian Grand Prix. He wins for the third time.
The speed of Pecco is there. Sometimes only 2 months are enough to reset everything.
Surely now we can say Bagnaia is back. He made it look so easy.
The goal for next year, fight for the championship. Must be the goal, and there will be the pressure in my shoulders.
The pressure on Marc Marquez's shoulders, fighting for the title once again. It would be an absolutely incredible 8th MotoGP World Championship. Whether he's capable of doing so or not remains to be seen. As Chris there, he refused to be taken in, did he? He was always going to be suggesting that Marc Marquez is the odds-on favourite, given his performance in 2025, and the way he adapted immediately to the bike in that campaign. And again, I mentioned it briefly, it was a bike that other riders struggled with, not Marc Marquez. He domineered it, he brought it to heel and made that into a winning machine. 11 Grand Prix won in 2025 by Marc Marquez. It's just absolutely incredible to think about. If he's able to repeat that kind of performance, that kind of consistency over the course of the year, well, he's going to be instilling fear in the hearts of every single rider on the MotoGP grid, and probably a few people off it as well, because that is just the level of genius which Marc Marquez allows us as witnesses to enjoy. It's just absolutely sensational. And if we define genius in sport as someone that can make these critical decisions in the shortest moments possible, Marc Marquez is absolutely that. A genius on two wheels. And it's been a real privilege and a pleasure to have watched him in 2025. We'll be seeing more of him in 2026 as well. As Chris also mentioned, he does have to recover from this injury. I mean, when he first did crash with Bezzecchi, I think in Indonesia, there was talk about him coming back and still trying to finish, maybe in Portugal, maybe in Valencia, and maybe even in the test, but he was unable to do so. He's being pragmatic, really. You feel like he may have learned the lesson about rushing forward as well, because he knows very well exactly what can happen is if you rush back from an injury. Obviously, that's what happened in 2019 or 2020 even. He aggravated an injury and rushed back, and that meant that it was more of an issue, and that arm didn't recover for years, really. I do believe we have Chris. We're just about to get going in Madonna Campiglio for the official unveiling. Chris, what's the feeling like there?
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good here, Connor. I've managed to get inside. It was getting a little bit chilly outside, so I've scuttled on inside looking for a front row seat here. But as we can take a look around, it's starting to really fill up here in the auditorium. Everyone has been instructed to their seats, so it's only a matter of time before we get underway here, and it's going to be an exciting one, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you get your seat now. We've got just, I think, maybe a minute and a half left, so I'll let you get off and enjoy the presentation. But just before that, can you just tell me if we've seen the riders coming in? We've seen the likes of Davide Tardozzi, Gigi Dall'Igna. Everyone in place, Chris?
Everybody's here and ready to get the show started. The lights are going down here, Connor. Everybody has arrived in high spirits and the show's getting on the way, so I'm going to pass it back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris. We'll be hearing from Chris as soon as we can get him, and as soon as we can get him with the riders and the Ducati staff as well. As we've just seen that the lights are going down in Madonna Campiglio ahead of this presentation of the Ducati Lenovo team for 2026. There's just moments to wait before what is one of the most exciting unveilings of the campaign. The dream team of Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia. So just moments to go there, and it's going to be so exciting to see exactly the way that the new livery is going to look. Will they pay homage to this centenary year? Will they maintain the red? You'd have to suspect that they will be, but it's going to be an absolutely incredible thing for us to be seeing so very shortly. We've said it a couple of times. We saw it in one of the comments in the chat as well. Dream team. Is this still the dream team, given the mixed performances of Pecco Bagnaia last year? Obviously, he is a two-time world champion, but he needs to be back at his best. But we can get things underway in Madonna Campiglio with the presentation now. We'll see you shortly afterwards.
Allora Davide, eccoci qua, un altro anno a Madonna di Campiglio.
Dai, direi che potrebbe andare peggio, una località del genere si sta sempre bene.
Dai, non vedo l'ora di essere su.
Allora Marco, come è andato l'inverno? Io bene, mi ho rilassato, famiglia, Mi hai preso il braccio te?
Io va bene, sono stato al caldo, sono andato per sciare.
Per sciare anche, ti hai visto allenarti per sciare? Sei
Alla
pronto?
grande, sono pronto.
Video?
C'è la gara campione in pista.
Sarà tutto pronto lì anche?
Proviamo a chiedere.
Chiedi.
Diamo un messaggio a Claudio.
È arrivato un messaggio. Sempre dice.
Ehi Claudio, come va? Sono qua con Mark.
Ciao Claudio, ciao.
Volevamo chiederti se lassù è tutto pronto, a Campiglio ci aspettano e se sei carico per la gara campione in pista su a Campiglio.
Arriviamo pronti per sciare.
Ciao Claudio.
Grande, dai che gli rispondiamo. Vai tu.
Ciao Pecco, noi siamo ancora in ufficio, ma ti aspettiamo comunque a Campiglio e mi raccomando porta Mark, eh?
Sì, in ufficio non ci crederei mai. Vabbè, vai. Nevischiola. Vediamo se ci sono Tullio e Matteo in giro. Diamo un'occhiata. Eccoli. Ciao Tullio.
Ciao Claudio.
Ciao Matteo.
Claudio, ciao.
Ciao Davide.
Allora?
Bentornati, vi stavamo aspettando.
Forse per noi non ce ne saremmo mai andati, a dire la verità.
Tu vuoi dire che tradiresti Borgo Panigale per Madonna di Campiglio?
Panigale è nel cuore, ma Madonna di Campiglio è parte di Ducati.
Beh guarda, voi ci portate la bellezza delle vostre moto, la forza del vostro team e il talento dei vostri piloti e noi vi facciamo trovare questo paradiso. Un piccolo universo fatto di tanti piccoli mondi, ognuno speciale. Siamo tra le Dolomiti di Brenta, patrimonio UNESCO dell'umanità, e il gruppo dell'Adamello della Pressanella, il ghiacciaio più grande d'Italia. Un luogo davvero suggestivo e seducente, dove il territorio e il Trentino e Madonna di Campiglio vi possono accogliere.
Noi lo conosciamo bene. Ci sentiamo a casa qua perché tutto quello che hai raccontato davvero per noi personalmente, ma anche per Ducati, per la marca, ci sentiamo proprio inseriti, perché lo sai che per noi la bellezza, star bene insieme, far star bene i nostri clienti e in un posto in cui c'è tanta armonia e bellezza insieme è proprio perfetto per noi, quindi sentiamo alla grande. Grazie di averci qui.
Claudio, possiamo proprio dire che siamo sulla stessa traiettoria. Qui inoltre siamo all'interno del Parco Naturale Adamello Brenta, è un geoparco UNESCO, è proprio una natura che vi accoglie, che rigenera e ti fa stare bene. Poi c'è anche un bel senso di ospitalità delle persone del luogo, sapete bene che c'è un ottimo cibo e anche una buona compagnia.
Perfetto. Allora dai ragazzi, andiamo a sciare. Via.
Che pensavo che ci si potesse divertire solo con 2 ruote.
No, 4.
No, non è male.
Mi ricordo il primo rally che ha fatto Audi con la 4 ruote motrici sulla neve, ha dato più di mezz'ora al secondo e nessuno se lo aspettava, quindi
No, veramente era una cosa. Poi la reazione dell'elettrico è meravigliosa.
quello è il sogno di tutti i piloti, riuscire in un tornantino a avere quella potenza che ti serve al momento giusto.
Far quello che vuoi.
Perché questa è una macchina 100% elettrica, quindi Audi, che è promotore della sostenibilità qui a Campiglio, questo è il top: guidare sul laghetto ghiacciato a queste velocità, divertendosi come ci siamo divertiti, però mantenendo la sostenibilità al 100%.
Ottimo, dai, perfetto, è stata un'esperienza fantastica, grazie
Anche per me essere con 2 icone e miti come voi.
A proposito,
Team purtroppo per un impegno non è qui con noi, però ci ha registrato un bellissimo video.
ottimo.
Thank you, Claudio, and thanks to your whole team for once again bringing this event to life and for keeping Ducati's colors and passion present in Madonna di Campiglio. The results you've achieved so far show something very clear. Motivation, teamwork, and a clear vision take you a long way. Not by chance, these are the same factors that helped us at Audi Italia to reach a new sales record last year. But while motivation, collaboration, and vision are essential for innovation, without speed in execution, you risk arriving too late. That's why we decided to take on the world's toughest starting grid, the Formula One. The new Audi Revolut F1 journey, starting in less than 2 months, isn't only about taking on a new sporting challenge. It's driven by the belief that competition can translate into value for our customers. And will also bring into our company the speed of decision-making and reaction that defines motorsport. So follow us, support us, cheer for us. We won't promise a podium in the first season. We are not Ducati yet. But I'm sure our passion will create moments that will stay with you for a long time. Have a fantastic day with the Ducati family.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yes, benvenuti, welcome, buongiorno. Yeah, welcome to Madonna di Campiglio. We are high up here, as you have just seen, in the heart of the beautiful, beautiful Dolomites, where the stillness of the winter is about to be broken by pure speed, the mountain silence meeting raw power. And of course, here, passion finds its natural home, because this isn't just a beautiful place, as you saw in that video before. There is so much more to it than that. This is a place where year after year, Ducati turns the page to start a new chapter. And it's great to see so many familiar faces with us here today, ready to get on the road. And to know as well, back home, a lot more live streaming around the world are ready to join us all on that journey here today. Today isn't just about presenting a team. It's about celebrating more than that, a culture, a way of racing, a way of thinking. Ducati isn't just building bikes. Ducati's about pushing and challenging limits, about never being satisfied, and about turning ambition into performance. And today, together, we all embark on a brand new chapter in that story. Welcome to the Ducati Lenovo Team 2026. And to begin this journey, we need to call on the man who guides Ducati's vision every single day. So please give a warm welcome to the CEO of Ducati himself, Mr. Claudio Domenicali.
Ciao, Kevin.
Very good morning to you, Claudio. I saw in the video before, I know Davide was trying to make out you were working, but it looked like you've been able to have some fun here this weekend already.
Yeah, actually it's part of our spirit. We always say to our people that our motto is kind of work hard and play hard. So actually that was part of the play. And really, to be honest, that little part of the footage was just a little that actually there is Matteo is in front of me, actually, which is the head of APT here, and actually he made some kind of really strong turn afterwards. So really show us how on the snow you can have the same grip that you have on tarmac with slick tires, if you are proper. So we learned a lot, and it was a lot of fun.
It looked like it. Hey, I'll leave the floor to you, Claudio.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and a warm welcome also from my side, and a warm welcome also to all the people that are connected from home and see this presentation. Is always very emotional. It's a beginning of a new journey, but doing here in Madonna di Campiglio for us, it's a little bit like a tradition now. It's a fantastic place and reflect a lot of the value actually there is in our brand, in Ducati, and the way we want to stay together. Let me begin actually thanking all the authorities that are here that actually help us in organizing everything. So Trentino Marketing, actually the Provincia Autonoma di Trento with the presence here of the councillor, so Roberto Failoni, which is here. So thank you very much for supporting us, and APT Campiglio. Actually, we found in all this organization a lot of common value, so that helped a lot. And in this fantastic place, we really feel that we can work, and there will be a lot of work today, a lot of interview. All the riders will be available, all the Ducati management will be available. So we will do a lot in trying to explain why we think this year will be another positive year for us, for Ducati, but also we'll have a lot of fun. This evening we will be together on the top of the slopes, and then we will get down together in the night, and then tomorrow we'll be on the ski. So actually that's part of the philosophy that we love having a place like this one to communicate to the old world, because it's not only about racing, but it's Ducati in general. And it's a fantastic occasion also to actually share a kind of an idea that we have, that Ducati in this moment, in 2026, is a kind of a unique company in the world, because it's merged in a kind of a unique pattern, elements that they have no comparison in any other brand in the world in two wheels. When we put together the heritage that we have, the incredible racing success, the technology that we have in the current model range, all set in a design which is very typical, very sporty, but very elegant, very Italian, so the typical Ducati design. When we talk about heritage this year, it's a presentation that will remain in the history of the company, because it's the presentation of the MotoGP team, which actually is our biggest racing effort in the year of Centenario. So we are in a company that 2026 turned 100. And actually 100 is a lot, but we are especially proud that this 100 year has been filled with a number of incredible products. Some of them has made the history of motorcycle. Let's think only, for example, 916, that have been a bike that will remain in the history of motorcycle in general. And just to quote only one. And so we thought it was a very good moment to actually reinterpret a color that actually will be a new color for the MotoGP that we'll see in a while. We call it Rosso Centenario. We took inspiration from a color that comes from our past, actually a color that was present in the Ducati 60 and Ducati Marianna. Both of them are very relevant in our history. And so we thought it was a very good moment to use one of our most powerful marketing tool, which is MotoGP, to show this message. And I want also to thank Aldo Drudi that helped us to put together the livery, because not only the color is new, but there are stripes on the bike that comes back in the history of Ducati. We used that already in the past racing success of our company. Actually, a second element which is very peculiar for the company is the racing result. Actually, we have been told a lot already, but just one number, I think it's incredible. 88 consecutive podium have never been done by any other manufacturer in MotoGP. So thanks a lot for Ducati Corse, and that put together the heritage with a fantastic present. So not only the past, but the present. And actually, this is paired with the result in World Superbike. We won 21 on 38 manufacturer championship. So an incredible racing result that are really contemporary. So not only the past, but the present. And when we move to the product, which actually is what our client actually can purchase, we have a model range that never like us has been high developed in technology and performance. So this is the reason why we think we have to be so proud of turning 100 in so good shape for the company. All together, as we said, paired with this incredible design, which is so much part of our brand. With this said, we can move talking about racing. And when you talk about racing from such a good, let's say, history of result, it's always difficult to say what's next. We'll have a lot of time to talk about that, but what I can reassure is that the determination is very strong. So the will to continue to get this result is very strong in the company. Ducati Corse is very motivated. The whole company, our shareholder, is very motivating in supporting us. So we start a new season with a lot of results achieved. But as Gigi said, every new season we start from zero. So we start from 0 point. All together, we will have the same possibility, all the manufacturer, all the rider. So with that said, I think we have to join all together in making the best wish of a fantastic season for our heroes, the rider, for our engineers, and all the team of Ducati Corse. So all the best for this 2026. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Claudio. Just as you were wishing all the best, of course, to the Ducati team, we saw Tim Bartlett there from Audi Italy, and I'm sure you want to wish your best as well on the project that Audi are undertaking in the racing world this year.
Yeah, this is actually big news. Audi entering Formula One with the Audi Revolut team is a big news, but thinking about that, it's kind of, I think, remarkable and impressive that our group, so the Audi group where Ducati belong, is the only group in the world that races in both the most relevant championship, both 2 wheels and 4 wheels. And this makes a lot, talks a lot about actually how much the group thinks that the racing is relevant. And I'm very happy for that, because Audi come back to a kind of a situation where when they had Audi Quattro and racing in the rally and Le Mans. So there is a lot in the history of Audi, actually, of incredible racing success. And the transfer of technology of this racing in the production. You mean Audi Quattro, you know, how much that developed the possibility to make a traction. And Dindo said, actually, half an hour difference. I didn't know that, you know, so it's kind of incredible. And yesterday with Gigi, we were discussing about how Quattro really make a difference, and actually other brand maybe not so sophisticated in managing the four-wheel drive traction. And having them together now, racing Formula One, I think there will be also a possibility of exchange, and already we started. So very happy about that. Excellent. And so the best of luck and the best wish for a fantastic starting. Tim said we cannot promise a podium, but let's hope for the best from the start, and actually for a long journey of success to our friends of Audi.
You never know. Claudio, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Claudio Domenicali, thank you. Right, I know you're going to be eager for what's to come, what's underneath these covers here now, but let's take a moment to remember what has brought us to this moment here today, because the future is built on what you do today, and of course, what you did yesterday too. And what Ducati did in 2025 really was something truly special. A season of battles, of details, of all kinds of pressure being laid on them. But it was a season that was built on talent, on hard work, and of course, an incredible team effort. So let's relive those moments now, because to understand where we're going, we need to remember where we've come from. Definitely, I think it deserves a round of applause, because it gets the blood flowing, doesn't it? What a season it was, what a story. But beyond those video images, beyond the footage, there is something else. There is consistency, there is method, and there's a standard that just keeps being raised weekend after weekend. The numbers that you can see behind me, the statistics, as Mark said, more than just a number. But they are definitely proof of a team that never stops pushing. Again, a third rider to win the MotoGP Triple Crown. So that's the third crown. 4 different riders winning a race on a Des Mercedes last year. What Claudio mentioned before, the remarkable 88 podiums in a row. They're evidence. It's not opinion, this is evidence. With all Ducati riders scoring a podium, 7 all Ducati rostrums. It's clear that the Ducati Des Mercedes is the powerhouse still of MotoGP. So those are the numbers. 2025 now is a part of Ducati's rich history. We can consign that to the history and we can move on to the future now, because we've got these two motorcycles here alongside me, ready to reveal. So I think you all are eagerly waiting to see what comes. Ducati has never been a brand that lives in the past. Racing teaches you one simple rule, that the next challenge always starts with a blank sheet of paper. And that next challenge starts here and now, a new season, a new story to write, the same hunger, the same ambition, the same objective to fight for victory every race, everywhere, every single weekend. Let's welcome the Ducati Lenovo team 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, your Ducati Lenovo team 2026, of course, Francesco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez. And wow, yeah, round of applause, please. An incredible moment. I'm pretty sure right now on YouTube, on the MotoGP website, on social media, things are going off right now. I'm pretty sure the bike looks fantastic. I'm going to get a little bit closer, though, and ask our two great champions up on stage a couple of questions. Pecco, first of all, welcome back. The bike, it looks great. What do you reckon? We saw a video teaser earlier, I remember, with your first impressions of looking at the bike. Now we can see it. What do you think? It's beautiful, isn't it?
I think I told to Claudia yesterday that this is the best bike I rode from 2021 that I'm in the factory team. The livery is fantastic. I really like it. Red and white, I think, is a great combinations, and I really like it.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And Marc, back here as the champ after your bet on red last year. But first of all, what everyone wants to know, first of all, is how are you? How are you after the injury? How has your winter been in recuperation?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm coming better. I'm working super hard during this winter to arrive. Thailand will be the main target, but yeah, as you see on the social media, I'm already riding a different kind of bike, so everything is going in a good way.
That's good to hear. And what's about the livery? Red again, of course, but slightly different shade, shall we say. Rosso Centenario, as it was described, I think, by Claudio earlier. Matte, 2 white lines as well down the front. What do you think? Do you like it?
Yeah, always. Fast bike is a nice bike. So this is the key point. So we will see during the preseason, but yeah, at least the design is super nice, and we will try to perform in the best way to celebrate the Centenario of Ducati.
Yeah, there's always a couple of tents in a Go Faster stripe. There's no doubt about it. And Pecco, how has your winter been as well? What's it like for you to be here again in Madonna di Campiglio? This is now your 6th season as a factory Ducati rider?
Yeah, winter been great. I had time to reflect, to imagine the season, trying to improve. Luckily, I have a good reference in the team, in the garage, so I can be close to him and try to steal some secrets. But I had time to work. I had time to train a lot and arriving to the first test prepare. And yeah, it's super good to be here in Madonna di Campiglio again. Like you said, 6th season in the factory team, and I think we had great memories and working to add some news during this season.
Yeah, hopefully we can create some more in 2026. And Mark, as I said before, you bet on red. This was all new, wasn't it, to you last year? But how different does this event feel here in Madonna di Campiglio, coming here as the world champion?
Yeah, I was speaking before with my girlfriend and manager. It's like a déjà vu, you know. Everything is in the same place, same style, but a different year and a different experience. And of course, this year I feel much more relaxed. Last year I was quite nervous, some butterflies in the stomach. This year we have that butterflies to start the season, but I already know the people, I already know the bike, I already know the teammates. So yeah, looking forward to start the season and starting the same way that we finished.
Maybe not so crazy on the skis this year like last year.
No, this year all winter I try to minimize the risk. So this year I will not ski anymore because it's not my sport.
I think people will understand. The people from Madonna di Campiglio. I think everyone will understand that. Right, behind every great result, there is of course a technical vision, a direction, and as we know, an attention, an obsession really for detail. So, to join us up on stage, please welcome the Ducati Corse Division General Manager, Gigi Dall'Igna.
Ciao a tutti and welcome to Madonna di Campiglio.
Thank you, Gigi. Great to have you with us here. What a lineup though. Mark, Pecco and Mark, 9 MotoGP World Championships between them. It is now the most decorated pairing that Ducati have ever had on their factory bikes. Does this add pressure then to your work, or does it create more peace of mind?
No, honestly speaking, it's fantastic to have such a great champion in our team. You know, they won a lot. They won 13 races last year. They won 16 sprint and 23 podiums. So they know exactly what we have to do in order to achieve our target, and you know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, fantastic. Another new season coming up, though. A new challenge. So how do you approach the new season?
This new season, it's a little bit different than the others because we have 2 projects in parallel. Because for sure we have the 26 bike that it's important for this season, but we have also the 27 machine because at the end of the year the rules completely change, and so it's really difficult for us to work in 2 projects at the same time.
I can imagine it's a huge undertaking, isn't it, for a factory like Ducati? And when you look at this motorcycle, what part do you think of this whole project best represents Ducati's racing philosophy today?
You know, honestly, it's a lot of things, a lot of idea in the bike. The most part of them we introduce and implement not only in the race machine but also on the street bike, for example, like the Panigale. But if I have to choose only one, I think that the Ride Day device is something special. It's something that we have to dismiss at the end of the year because of the rules. It's something that we change every year because it's so important for the performance. So it's a really clever part.
It absolutely is. We've seen it transform MotoGP over recent years. Pecco, we know that if we look back to 25, 2 victories, of course, we mustn't forget that, but it wasn't all you would have wished for, of course. There were certain struggles. So having gone through a challenging year like that, do you think that this season will see a new and improved Pecco that builds on everything that you've learned?
Yeah, I think it's a similar question that I received last year where I was winning a lot, but I lost the championship. And this year we are speaking about other difficulties, but in both situations you can also always grow. I think last year was tough, not just for me, also for the team, because it was difficult to understand and to see clearly the situation. So many times we had good potential, but we didn't reach the result. Other times we had some bad lucks, like the puncture on the rear tire in Malaysia. And other times I was struggling a lot to find my feeling, to find the performance. But in any case, I think with the calm and with the work we did this winter, we can try to adapt and we can try to improve from these situations.
We all have our fingers crossed for you this year, Pecco, definitely. Mark, you don't need to say it, of course. Your objective, of course, is to retain the title this year. But my question is now, you've won it all. You've achieved, you've come back, you've achieved everything that you've probably set yourself out to achieve. So where do you draw the hunger from? Where do you draw that motivation from to keep pushing every year?
I mean, I think the passion is the main key. I mean, I have a big passion about riding a bike, but not riding a bike, about competition. Is the best fuel I have in my body, and a season like 2025 just create more motivation. It's like sometimes it's like, okay, now you achieve the target and now you will drop, but it's opposite. I mean, that season 2025 give me the power enough for work a lot this winter again, and as you know, with a long rehabilitation. But yeah, I was there every day working, thinking only that I want to taste again the victory. So let's see if we can this year.
That's made a few people at home worried, I'm sure, to hear that, to know that the hunger is still there. Gigi, last year, we've already seen the statistics, record-breaking season, the Triple Crown again, marking another year of Ducati dominance in MotoGP. I'm sure you never get tired of winning, that much is certain, but how do you maintain the standards? How do you keep them so high year on year?
It's, we love victory, we love winning. But not only me, the riders, the technician, the mechanics, the woman, the man of Ducati Corse love to win race. And, I think it's a part of our DNA.
Absolutely, it is. And as you mentioned there, engineers, performance isn't built only with the carbon and the metal that we see here. It's also built with data, with software, simulation and intelligence. And to tell us more about that, please welcome up onto the stage Technical Director for the Ducati Lenovo team, Davide Barana. Ciao, Davide.
Good morning.
Good morning, Davide. Great to have you with us. And as I was saying before, I think it's fair to say now that a bike is almost like a MotoGP machine anyway, like a living system, constantly evolving all the time. So building on what you learned in 2025, what are the most significant changes that we're going to see in the bike compared to last year? And how have these changes been shaped by data, insights and learnings from the continuous development work that the team do?
Yes, the MotoGP bike is a very complex system. So we have worked on multiple fronts to improve it. Certainly we want to improve chassis performance by reducing vibration because it has been quite frequent complaint last year, and also enhancing the bike stability, in particular in high-speed circuit like Essen or Phillip Island. And as Gigi said, we will bring, I'm proud to say, the very last, more sophisticated version of our ride high device before the ban next year. But not only, in motorsport, top speed is very important. We have worked on engine performance in spite of engine freeze, working on free components like air intake to improve airflow and hence horsepower, and also lubricant and oil specification. And last but not least, we will bring, as usual, a new aero package that will improve, again, top speed by reducing drag, and also enhancing downforce to help our riders in exit corner acceleration and also cornering speed. So, but I'm not here alone to tell the story. For the last 8 years, invisible yet important partner helped us improving performance and innovation. I'm talking about Lenovo technology. And today I'm proud and excited to introduce you on stage live this team member, the Ducati Lenovo Racing Intelligence.
Okay, so we can talk directly to the motorcycle, effectively. Race intelligence. Okay, well, I'll ask a few questions first of all. How have past racing insights driven this bike's evolution?
Every lap, every test session, and every race feeds into a constant learning process. Engineers analyze vast amounts of historical data, using advanced computing and AI to uncover patterns that aren't visible to the human eye alone. Past seasons aren't achieved and forgotten. They become a living data set that actively shapes what comes next. With Lenovo's technology powering the analysis, the team gains a faster, deeper understanding of what worked, what didn't, and why. It creates a continuous learning loop between the bike, the engineers, and the data, where every experience fuels future performance.
Okay, so in racing, of course, it's about anticipating what's coming around the corner, not just reacting to things. So how do you make that happen on track?
Anticipation starts with simulation. AI models are used to run thousands of scenarios before they ever play out on track, combining current and historical data to generate predictive insights. During a race weekend, these insights inform everything from bike setup and performance to strategy and in-the-moment decision-making. By preparing for changing conditions and unpredictable race variables in advance, engineers can reduce reaction time and make smarter decisions earlier. In a sport where every millisecond matters, data turns preparation into precision. Winning isn't just about reacting well, it's about being ready before the moment arrives.
Okay, so we're about to go testing. Before a wheel ever turns, how do the engineers prepare the bikes for the first tests of the year?
Performance begins long before the bike leaves the garage. Engineers use virtual testing and simulation to accelerate development, exploring ideas and possibilities in a digital environment first. Human expertise and AI work side by side, with Lenovo's technology providing the computing power needed to handle complex analysis at speed. Concepts are validated virtually before they're proven physically, allowing us to arrive at the first tests with clarity and confidence. By the time the bike rolls out, our engineers already know which options are worth exploring, and that preparation gives them a critical head start.
Okay, thank you very much, Race Intelligence, for sharing your knowledge with us today and obviously being a valuable, as Davide said, virtual teammate and driving innovation with the Ducati Lenovo team. Racing, though, as we said before, is not just about machines, it's about people, it's about organization and keeping the whole structure moving in the same direction. To explain a little bit more, please welcome Ducati Lenovo team sporting director, Mauro Grasili. Ciao Mauro.
Good morning, everyone.
Good to have you with us up on stage here, Mauro. I have a couple of questions for you. First of all, though, the bike, the livery, this red and the white lines, what can you tell us about them?
Yeah, we talk a lot about the bike. Claudio said a lot of things, but this color is a mix of the essential thing of Ducati, our DNA, our sport, soul, our how can use our history, because this year is very important for us, and also the red, because the red is color very important for us. So we put together this element, we create a new color called Rosso Centenario. And as Claudio said, it's inspiring of our racing bike in the past.
It's absolutely beautiful, I have to say. Beyond the technology, though, I wonder from your point of view what the key is to managing the human side and keeping such a large and successful group working together as one team.
Yeah, I would say that the human side is so important for us. So we can have the best bike, we can have the best technology, but without the right people, it doesn't matter, it's not important. So I mean, our team is our power. The people work together, the people achieve the result together. So without the right people in the right position, there's no result.
And how important in a project like this is it that the partners, sponsors, a lot of them in the room here today, how is it that they really feel a part of the journey and they're not just supporters from the sidelines?
Yes, the sponsor, the party is so important for us. They are not just supporting us, but is really part of the project. We love to share our result. We love to share with them our target, when they can understand the work behind the result, they really became member of the team. If you can have this kind of relationship with them, you create a really important relationship, very long way, and we can stay together for a while. Yeah. So it's very, very important to have this kind of relationship with them.
Absolutely. And I believe now we've got more people that you want to bring up on stage.
Yes, I would like to have with me the very, very important people. I would like to start with Michele Pirro, he's our test rider. Please, Michele, join us. Davide Tardozzi, our team manager, please. Riccardo Savin is our MotoGP project leader. And finally, our Iron Lady, Lara Rodini, sponsorship director of Lenovo.
Davide, if you want to go in there. Welcome all of you up onto stage. We haven't got too long, but if I could just ask all of you perhaps for a key word for the 2026 season from your point of view. Michele, we'll start with you.
Speed, of course.
Of course, I wouldn't doubt anything less from yourself, Michele. Davide, what about yourself?
I would say continuity on performance.
Okay, Riccardo?
It's hard to synthesize, but I choose driven.
Rhythm, okay.
Well, if I have to choose one, then is relentless.
Relentless,
yeah,
okay.
It is the combination of the Ducati performance, the Lenovo power, no compromise, no comfort, only push together for another season. And when the lights go out, being relentless is the only way forward.
Well, let's hope it all pays off this year. We've got pretty much the whole team up on stage. Gigi, would you like to say a few final words for us here yourself?
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank all the sponsors, all of our partners, because without his help, we cannot achieve the result that we are achieving. And I also to say, I have to say thanks to all the Ducati course employees that work really hard in these years. And, thank you very much.
Of course, not everyone up here on stage to close this evening and to officially open this new chapter in 2026. Please welcome back onto stage Claudio Domenicali. Claudio, would you like to say a few words, perhaps, to all the Ducatisti, all the media, the sponsors we have?
Yeah, I think that we are really at the end, and so it's been kind of very emotional, as always, very special for this centenario. But what makes me most proud, and that I feel that there is the same spirit of actually when we started this journey, and the competition will be strong. Competitors will try to beat us as much as possible. But I think that with the support of everyone, with the kind of determination this year, and all the Ducatisti back home that cheering for us, and all the support that we have in the room, I think we will have a very, let's say, competitive season. So the best of luck to everyone, and thank you to everyone for the support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudio, as well. And a reminder, what we are celebrating here today is not just a bike. It's not just the two riders, two fantastic champions that we have up here on stage. It is a method, it's a shared ambition, it's a team. And the next chapter in the team story starts right here and right now. A reminder, in just a few days, the team will be back on track. As you can see, the shakedown test in Sepang, Michele will be there for that. That's at the end of January. Moving on then, the official riders will be out on the track in Sepang before a second test in Buriram in Thailand in the middle of February, just a week before the start of the season, the last weekend of February. First, Sunday of March, race time, the Thai Grand Prix from Buriram. I'm sure, like me, that you can't wait to get started on this journey. To everyone here in Madonna di Campiglio and to everyone at home joining us from around the world, thank you so much for being here, for joining us, and for being a part of this story. The wait is almost over. The story starts now. Enjoy your Campioni in pista. This is the Ducati Lenovo Team 2026. Forza Ducati!
What a launch from the Ducati Lenovo team, and what a way to celebrate 100 years of the Borgo Panigale factory. That was absolutely incredible, wasn't it? We expected red. Did we expect centenary red, as it was called there? I'm not so sure. And then the details with the lines, the white lines, the two white lines, which were just, I think, a bit unexpected. It's the kind of delightful detail that we should expect from the likes of Ducati. They're obviously a very fashionable outfit, so absolutely incredible. What a launch, and I have to say, maybe I'm a little biased, but that is one of the most beautiful bikes I think we'll be seeing on the grid this season. There we can see both Mark and Pecco with the new detail of the two lines, smiling away there. It's great to see them getting on so well within that Ducati garage, and we can see the details as well, the updated aero and everything on that 2026 bike, and they look very, very thrilled indeed. In fact, Pecco said that it was his favourite in all of his time as a Ducati factory team rider. So that's 6 years of experience for Pecco, and this is his favourite, and you can see why. Those lines, that detail, the contrast of the white and the red, really very much impeccably Ducati, isn't it? I mean, please let us know in the chat, of course, all of your thoughts about this livery as well. We will be reading them, of course. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that this is going to be one bike that stands out on the grid in 2026. And it's easy to see why from an aesthetic perspective, but of course, if you've got Pecco and Mark riding it as well, it's always going to look that little bit cooler as well. We also heard Gavin Emmett there making a little joke about the fact that having a couple of speed lines on it always gives you a couple of tenths as well. So let's take a look at their relationship between Mark and Pecco quickly in a short video.
Hey, ciao. 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 Come va? Ciao.
We have a good relationship, teammate relationship, and this also helps the team atmosphere.
He just adapt perfectly to the team, and we are working in the same way.
Yeah.
We are speaking a lot about more things, not just bikes.
Matrimonio impegnativo no? No. Facile. Niente, un giorno e mezzo è stato.
Sei andato a fare le prove per il tuo?
No. Caglia.
It's absolutely fascinating to see this dynamic between both Pecco and Mark as well. We saw Pecco just minutes ago saying that he's thrilled to have a rider like Mark in his garage and that maybe he can get a few secrets. And we saw him there as well saying that they have a fantastic relationship and that he can learn a lot from Mark. So that's great to see. Pecco obviously was used to playing a leading role in the Ducati garage, but of course the way that Ducati operate is very much one of parity between the duo. They share responsibility in terms of development of the bike, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this year develops with on that 2025 machine. Pecco's going to have to adapt very quickly, I think, to the 2026 bike, but if you've got someone like Gigi Dall'Igna working on it, I'm sure that he's going to be delivering something that Pecco can work with and return to the best version of Pecco, the version of Pecco that we saw in 2022, 2023, and I'd even hazard a guess, well, it's not a guess really, I'd say 2024, where he didn't win the championship, but he won 11 races. I mean, that's an absolutely incredible performance by anyone's reckoning. Of the same amount of races as Mark won last year, he just lacked that bit of consistency. So these are the things that we're going to have to be seeing fixed by the Ducati team. We've got so little time before we get going, but of course we are going to be launching the season in Kuala Lumpur, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. Let's take a look. The season wakes, the season is stirring. We're about to get underway in just a matter of days, really, in 2026 in MotoGP, and it's going to be an absolutely incredible year, of course. And as ever, and we're going to be bearing witness to Marc Marquez as he looks to defend his title and claim an 8th MotoGP World Championship. Whether he's able to do so remains to be seen. He's got the threat, of course, of his teammate Pecco Bagnaia, who will, we hope, be back to his best. But we've also got the likes of Alex Marquez, obviously his brother, who excelled in 2025, and of course will be given a factory spec bike for the coming campaign, which is going to make it that little bit more difficult for Marc to compete with him, I'm sure. And then obviously we've got the Yamaha Fabio Quartararo, a scintillating rider, even at the worst of times, was so close to winning last year in the Great Britain GP, so cruelly unable to do so. Bezzecchi, of course, was doing sensationally well on the Aprilia come the end of the campaign. Of course, he was doing that and winning those races without Marc on track because of that injury that was caused by the collision between those two as well. So we'll have to see as well how Marc can recover from that injury. It's going to be very interesting to see, but he has been so pragmatic. He's been taking all the precautions, and we also saw him there in the presentation saying that despite the fact that the Ducati presentation is in the Dolomites in northern Italy, in Madonna di Campiglio, an absolutely stunning setting, he will not be skiing because he doesn't want to take any risks. He's entirely focused on returning to full fitness, returning to full strength for the beginning of the 2026 campaign. And as we just mentioned, it's coming very, very soon, and we will be seeing Ducati, Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia in a brand new livery. Look at that, with the details, the white line celebrating 100 years of Ducati, and you couldn't have a better duo to model it, really, could you? They look absolutely incredible in that red with the white detail. It's different as well. It's something we've not seen from Ducati for a while, and it's great to see them changing things up, and it's, as ever, a phenomenal design with the detail. You can see there on Pecco's helmet, he's just contrasting it with a bit of white as well. So yeah, that looks absolutely beautiful, and it's going to be so exciting to see it on track, and we'll see whether those two white lines make the bike go a little bit faster. But yeah, just one of the most beautiful bikes on track. That much is for sure. And it really always has been since arriving. Ducati Desmosedici, one of the most incredible bikes on track, both in terms of aesthetics and how it looks, but also the way it performs on track. So yeah, let us know your thoughts on this new look Ducati, especially with the new details, with the white contrasting with the centenary red, 100 years of Ducati. And we heard Chris as well speaking earlier from Madonna di Campiglio about how they began with push bikes, and now they've moved on to this incredible motorbike and their incredible success, especially in recent years. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic to see how that bike performs on track, because it's absolutely beautiful and it's going to be looking absolutely incredible. Let's take a look at some of the contenders that both Mark and Pecco will be facing in 2026.
Will be an interesting 2036 season. Aprilia is growing a lot.
Wins.
KTM with Acosta.
Pedro Acosta does take a stunning second.
Honda every time is closer and closer. They need a massive step. Bestial here. Yamaha is standing a bit more, but it's Yamaha.
Fabio Quartararo, you absolute superstar.
From Alex, you can expect everything. Finishing second in the championship, he will be one of the title contenders.
Alex Marquez has sprinkled some magic on the Malaysian Grand Prix. He wins for the third time.
The speed of Pecco is there. Sometimes only 2 months are enough to reset everything.
Surely now we can say Bagnaia is back. He made it look so easy.
The goal for next year, fight for the championship. Must be the goal, and there will be the pressure in my shoulder.
It's going to be a challenge for the Ducati boys with all these riders on track to compete against. The likes of Pecco, the likes of Quartararo, the likes of Bezzecchi, and of course the likes of Alex Marquez. I do believe we have Chris Jordan with another person who's going to be challenged this season, Gigi Dall'Igna, the Ducati course general manager. Chris.
Yeah, thanks very much, Connor. Gigi.
Well, I do believe we may have lost the signal there just when we're about to hear from the architect of the current Ducati success. We'll try and get him back as soon as possible and try and hear from both the riders and other members of the Ducati team as well, because it would be absolutely fascinating to hear the thoughts of Gigi Dall'Igna going into 2026. Of course, it's a transitional year for MotoGP, and Gigi's going to have to look at developing the 2026 bike, but he's also got the 2027 bike to look at as well, obviously with the change in the regulations, the switch to 850cc. What that's going to mean for Ducati remains to be seen, because of course you could look at it as a leveling of the playing field in certain terms, because all of the bikes are going to be beginning from more or less the same position in terms of development. Everyone's going to be working on that as much as they can, but they also have to focus on 2026 as well. And here we can get a look at the livery for Ducati in 2026. The current campaign that we're going to be going into so shortly, and we can all not wait, I am sure, to see it on track. We're seeing it modeled by Mark there on the stage in Madonna di Campiglio. An absolutely incredible new livery for Ducati. There's Pecco as well on top of the new bike, the bike that he said was the best looking in all of his time at the Borgo Panigale factory. So the riders are definitely big fans. Let us know whether you are as well, because this is really quite a sensational look for Ducati as they celebrate 100 years, especially with this white detail, the two lines. We can just see there Mauro Gasili speaking with Gavin Emmett on stage in Madonna di Campiglio just moments ago. But we are so close to getting these two bikes on track. We'll be seeing it at the test coming up, of course, in Sepang. Just, again, a matter of weeks. And I, for one, cannot wait. I mean, the attention to detail on this bike is absolutely sensational. Just look at it. It's precious. It's beautiful. He's got everything you could possibly want from a Ducati bike. The detail, the red and the white. I'm also a huge fan of the way that the sponsors look as well on these machines. So it'd be absolutely incredible to see it on track as well. And then what a presentation as well in true style from Ducati, really. A statement of intent, as it is every year when we see them on lining up in Madonna di Campiglio. We do have Davide Tardozzi, who is with Chris. We can hear from him now, I do believe.
Davide, a wonderful presentation, and Ducati are now ready and waiting for the beginning of 2026. So just looking ahead to the season at both of your riders, we have Pecco in one side of the box and Marc on the other. Marc comes into this one as a reigning champion. What more can Marc do on a Ducati to maintain his championship run?
Yeah, for sure the engineers works a lot during the winter. We saw that the opponents grows a lot in the end of the season due to the good rules that Dorna built up together with MSMA. So we are really working hard to try to bring some new specs in Malaysia for the first test, and then we'll see what the other has done.
And then in terms of expectations on riders this year, Pecco obviously had a very difficult 2025. What is the expectation for Pecco this year? Do you see him competing for the title against Marc?
Yeah, for sure. When you have the world champion, the first expectation is to work again for the title. But in the end, on the other hand, we have two great champions. Pecco faced a difficult season last year, but we are completely sure about his speed, his talent. So we are really looking forward to have our riders fighting both for the winnings and the title.
And of course, we know Ducati like to get their contracts signed early, the rider contract signed early. Both of your riders are out of contract at the end of next season. When can we expect some movement on that front? Will you be waiting for some results before signing contracts?
Yeah, first of all, we are looking to try to renew the world champion, because that's obvious, like we did with Pecco in the past, and then we'll see. But in this moment, we are really focused to the first test, and then we'll see. We are not under pressure. Again, we would like to fix, if it's possible, the world champion, then we'll see.
And just, of course, the World Championship is the expectation for Ducati Lenovo team, but we saw your rivals last year close that gap to you. Which of the other teams is of the biggest concern to you?
I think that all the teams has a great possibility. We saw all the brands, KTM, Honda, Yamaha and Aprilia grows in the end of the year, as I said already, and we don't know because we know what we did, what our engineers did, but we need to wait the first test, and not only because we saw that Yamaha last year they was very fast in the beginning of the season, then they suffer a bit. So I think that as every year we need to wait at least half championship to see who will be the real competitor for the championship.
Thank you very much, Davide.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Davide, of course. Now, I hope everyone paid attention to what Davide just said. He was very, very forceful about signing a new contract with Marc Marquez. He was much less so about Pecco Bagnaia. So that rumour mill is going to be swinging and swinging about the future of Pecco Bagnaia. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how that does develop as well, because silly season is a constant story of MotoGP, and it's one I personally take tremendous pleasure from. And as Davide did say there, that they will be waiting to see results on track, but that they are looking to sign Marc Marquez's new contract for 2027 and the future as soon as possible and tie him down to Ducati. It obviously makes sense with him being a world champion, and he did say that they did the exact same with Pecco once he was winning, well, when he was winning the title. So very interesting to see how that develops. Pecco's going to have to hit the ground running if he wants to retain that seat. Is that the message that's coming out of Ducati? He's more than capable of doing it, of course, and it's, again, great to see this duo on track. We've mentioned it several times. We mentioned it last year as well, almost ad nauseum. This is the dream team. You've got the likes of Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia, both multiple world champions in MotoGP. You couldn't ask for more as a team manager, especially given that they have a positive relationship and get on so well. So let's take a look again at the livery there. Absolutely lovely stuff from Ducati. And what about, as well, the MotoGP store? Gear up for 2026 at the official MotoGP store. Find all of the best official merchandise through the MotoGP store. So check it out. Go store.motogp.com. Why not? Have a look at what's there for 2026. We'll be seeing the livery there, I'm sure, soon enough as well. And we can just see that the detail for 100 years of Ducati, 1926 to 2026. And they really are marking it in style with this new livery, aren't they? It is absolutely wonderful to see the red and the white contrast on this new bike. We'll be very interested to see, I'm sure, exactly what they bring to the tests as well coming up for both Bagnaia and Marquez. We can just see them unveiling it here. A very big moment in the Ducati garage. The two riders unveiling the bikes, the 93 and the 63. Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez. What a formidable team. Marc, obviously the reigning champion. Bagnaia looking to get back to his best. He certainly looks back to his best on this bike. What a machine for the two riders in 2026. And again, just to highlight that red, centenary red it's been called. And then, of course, with the little detail of the two stripes as well in white. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see on track. And we are seeing Marc Marquez on track in Valencia, if I'm not mistaken here. The reigning champion, looking for his 8th MotoGP title. Be very interesting to see whether he's capable of delivering this time around. We heard him earlier speaking about the fact that winning the title didn't lessen his desire to win again. It's not game over for Marc Marquez. Marc Marquez wants to keep going, and he is more hungry than ever before. He just wants another taste of victory. It's easy to see why he's always been this kind of character, hasn't he? He's got that personality in which he just needs to win. Anything but winning is just not enough for Marc Marquez. And really, has it ever been? I mean, his is a tale of success from start to finish, and we can see our live poll here. Will Marc Marquez win his 8th MotoGP title in 2026? No is currently winning, but we are live with this poll, so please put your comments in the chat, yes or no, and we'll see exactly what our public think. That's very, very bold. If we have less than half of all of our viewers, less than half of you, saying that he will win, so who do you think is going to win instead? Who is going to be taking the fight to Marc Marquez? This is absolutely fascinating to see. This is against the grain, people. So currently 51% of people participating in our poll think that Marc Marquez will not win his 8th title in 2026 in MotoGP. I'm not sure that's an easy thing to bet on at all. Marc Marquez showed right from the start of his tenure at Ducati that he was more than capable of winning. And he did so on a bike which other riders, the likes of Fabio Di Giannantonio and of course his teammate at Ducati, Pecco Bagnaia, struggled with. I mean, could you give Marc any machine? Would he be able to at least be in with a chance of winning the title? So we'll obviously be seeing Marc Marquez on track soon enough. We didn't get enough of him, and we can go and listen to the person who's responsible for building that machine for him, Gigi Dall'Igna.
Yeah, thanks very much, Connor. Gigi, we heard you say during a wonderful presentation there that Ducati love winning. How are you going to win in 2026 and how difficult is it going to be?
Ogni anno è sempre un anno nuovo, si parte tutti con 0 punti e quindi non è solo un capitolo, è proprio un libro completamente nuovo. quindi i nostri avversari saranno sicuramente molto combattivi e noi cercheremo di metterci come ogni anno tutte le nostre energie, tutte le nostre energie per riuscire a vincere.
Thank you very much. And now we'll do some in English as well, okay?
Okay.
So, okay? So same question. Gigi, we heard you say during the presentation that Ducati absolutely love winning. How difficult is it going to be to continue winning in 2026?
It's for sure will be difficult because our competitors is working very hard, but you know we like win, and of course we will put all our effort to try to win as much as possible.
So you said you're going to put as much effort into developing the bike as possible in order to win, but of course we have the engine freeze and the almost a static development for 2026. So how are you going to continue to develop the GP26 as the rivals close in on you?
But anyway, there are a lot of things that are free. For example, the fairing, for example, not all the engine is completely free. There are parts like, for example, the exhaust or the intake parts that is possible to work with, and so we work on these possibilities.
And of course the bike has a new look and also a new voice as well. Ducati continue to innovate wherever possible. How much is the new feature going to help you on track this year?
You know, the new ideas, new feature is always welcome. For sure, at the moment we have only ideas. We have to check it, and only after the Sepang test we can understand which one of these ideas could stay on the bike permanently for the season.
Thank you very much, Gigi.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Gigi Dall'Igna. It's going to be fascinating to see the bike that he puts on track this year for both Marc and Pecco Bagnaia. And I do believe we can hear from Marc Marquez, the reigning MotoGP world champion, right about now, who is with Chris.
Yeah, that's right, Connor. I'm here with Marc. Marc, a wonderful presentation here today. First and foremost, before we look to the future, I just want to ask you about the off-season. How difficult has it been for you this off-season with the injury, and how hard have you been working to get back to full fitness?
Yeah, one more time, it was a long winter. I mean, bit harder than what I expect because in the beginning it was not bad, but then we had there few difficulties that just delayed a bit the introduce of riding a bike, but yeah, now this January we are riding in a good way, and looks like everything is working in a good way, and yeah, main target is try to arrive at 100% in Thailand.
Absolutely superb news. So then, coming into the new season, you're a rider who's experienced the highest of highs in MotoGP and the lowest of lows. 2024 rather, you said, was a year to enjoy when you joined Grosini. 2025, you had a new target, and that was of course winning the championship. What's the target for 2026?
I mean, we must fight for the title one more time. I mean, we have the pressure. I mean, if you are in the Ducati Lenovo team, you must fight for the championship, and is what we will try to do. For that reason, I work a lot this winter to try to prepare, to try to recover in a good way, and yeah, we are in a process. So yeah, the target is try to fight for the championship.
And then, is there an added motivation this year? You've got 7 MotoGP titles to your name. It could be 8. You could go level with Giacomo Agostini as the all-time championship leader, let's say, with titles. Is that an extra motivation for you?
I mean, for me, the most difficult challenge of my career I already done. That was come back from a nightmare, and yeah, last year was we closed the circle. And now, of course, we will try to fight for the championships because for that reason we are MotoGP riders to fight and to be competitive. But if arrive some championship, welcome. If not, it will be not a disaster. But we will try.
And just looking a little further into the future beyond this year, 2027, have any contract talks begun with Ducati, and are you very much committed to remaining with the Bologna Bullets?
Yeah, of course. As if you check my career, if I'm in a team where I feel good, where I'm fast, and yeah, everything is working well, I try to don't move. So yeah, of course, my first option is try to be in Ducati, but step by step. I mean, looks like every time the contracts are closed earlier and earlier. Of course, we are in conversations, but yeah, I need to evaluate all the things.
Thank you very much, Mark, and good luck this year.
There we have the words of Marc Marquez at the 2026 Ducati Lenovo team presentation, the launch. And here we have the poll. Again, it's live. Will Marc Marquez win his 8th MotoGP title in 2026? Well, we have had some movement there. Yes is now at 57%. That's up from 49 just minutes ago. And it's 43% of you who think that he will not. So now, the majority do believe that Marc Marquez will win his 8th MotoGP title in 2026, overtaking the likes of Valentino Rossi and catching up with the legend that is Giacomo Agostini. And given the performance last year from Marc Marquez, it's hard to argue with that. I mean, I said that earlier when the majority of you were actually against me in this program, but Marc Marquez was on fire this season and is almost certainly going to be on fire again this time around in 2026. You can see what it means to him to win, but he was really kind of limiting expectations a bit, or at least it seemed that way in the interview with Chris, didn't it? He wasn't expressing necessarily that he needs to win in any meaningfully deep way. He said that what was most important for him was returning, performing well, and then winning again after that horrific shoulder injury which kept him from competing at the top for so long. He's going to be joined in that Ducati garage by Pecco Bagnaia. Marc has identified Pecco, and rightfully so, as a real threat in 2026 as well. So let's hear what you think. Will we see the best of Bagnaia in 2026? Please participate. We'd love to see what you think about Pecco Bagnaia in the coming campaign. Obviously, he is a two-time world champion in MotoGP. He was absolutely sensational in 2022, 2023, and also in 2024 when he fell just short right at the last hurdle to Jorge Martin. He won 11 races, or 11 Grands Prix, I should say, in that season, and yet was just unable to clinch that MotoGP title. Well, currently we've got 100% of people who think that we'll be seeing the best of Bagnaia in 2026. And I think that's something that all of us want to see, at least, because Pecco is an absolutely incredible rider when he's on his day, when he's confident, when he's happy. I mean, we saw what it meant to him to win twice in 2025. Once at Kota in the Grand Prix there, which was an absolutely fantastic win for him, but one which was a bit of a gift from Marc Marquez, who obviously crashed out of the lead. And then in Japan, where everything went absolutely perfectly for him, and I think took a lot of people by surprise. Whether it took him and Ducati by surprise, I do not know, but as a fan, I think it really did. And we can see there what you do think. Pecco will be back, I swear. So, very, very confident there. Pecco has to bounce back. He does. He has to. I think that's the key term here, because with the contract coming to an end, he's not a rider that I would expect not to see on the grid, but perhaps maybe not in red. Forza Pecco, go for the world champion in 2026. Well, it'd be absolutely incredible to see Pecco battling at the front, battling with Marc, a Ducati fight for the top. Pecco forever there. Pecco double champ. He is, of course, a double champion 2022 and 2023, and he did so in such style. So it would be great to see Pecco back to his best. Keep commenting, keep talking to us in the chat, and keep participating in that poll. We will be seeing both Pecco and Marc in a brand new livery. We've been touching on it since we saw the presentation, and it's going to be one of the highlights of the campaign. That is for sure. It's absolutely beautiful. Red, of course. Could it be anything else with Ducati? But with a touch of white this time around. 2 white lines, which are going to be, I am sure, giving Ducati all the look they need. Not that they do need it. They are really one of the superior teams in MotoGP at the moment. Absolutely incredible for so long, and with the likes of Gigi Dall'Igna, Davide Tardozzi, Marquez in that box, it's easy to see why they function as such a brilliant team, such an incredible organisation, and that's sure to continue into the future, especially in 2026. But they'll be wanting to do this livery proud as well, won't they? We can just see again Mark and Pecco unveiling. Looks sublime, that livery. Sublime is an absolutely perfect word to describe it. It's a bit more powerful than good, I think, but yeah, it's also a very, very valid way to describe it. I think everyone is going to be in agreement on this. Nice livery. That's from Marlon there. And we can just see it again on stage in Madonna di Campiglio in the Italian Dolomites. Whoa, the livery is retro but modern. I think that's probably exactly what Ducati were going for. I mean, they are celebrating 100 years of their brand. Very cool seeing Pecco's helmet incorporate the new white stripe detail. This is something that I think is a very, very good point. I mentioned it briefly, but I'd love to touch on it again perfectly there. Well timed by our TV team. We just saw the images of Pecco's helmet. Absolutely, it's absolutely true. Mark hasn't opted to do that, but who can fault him with that fantastic helmet as well, all in red. And he has put everything all on red once again. But yeah, absolutely astonishing livery. Really, really quite beautiful. And it's going to be great to see it on track in our opening tests. And of course, once we start racing, we'll also be seeing it at Kuala Lumpur at the MotoGP launch. Will we see the best of Bagnaia in 2026? Well, we've still got 21% of people who believe that we will not see the best of Bagnaia. I think I side with the majority. 79% of you believe that we will indeed be seeing the best of Bagnaia in 2026. And the best of Bagnaia is a winning Bagnaia. It's a champion Bagnaia. And it'll be great to see that, of course. And we can hear from the man himself, the two-time world champion Pecco Bagnaia, who I do believe is with Chris.
Pecco, great to see you here. A wonderful presentation for Ducati. I just want to ask you a little bit about your off-season. Of course, we saw you had a bit of a busy one, a bit of a celebrity in some other sports, but I wanted to ask you particularly, how did you take the time to reflect on 2025 last year, and what are the biggest lessons you've taken from last season?
As soon as the championship finished, I just tried to relax a bit, and I went to some holidays with my wife. And then I had time enough from the half of December to train, to think about the wrong things about last year. So I had time to reflect on my mistakes, reflect on what I can do better this season, and I think was very helpful. Normally in those difficult moments you can learn a lot of things, and it's what I try to do.
If I can ask for specifics, what do you think is the biggest lesson that you have learned that you can take into the new season?
Sometimes it's just better to enjoy the moments and not think on the wrong things.
And now, looking ahead to 2026, how important is it for you to start this season, to hit the ground running in Thailand and even in the tests before?
I'm very looking forward to ride the bike as soon as possible. Very happy to have some times in Indonesia before the test in Malaysia to start again riding. And the test will be super important, so this season I will try to do more laps and think more on the performance and see. Luckily, this season the new things are less than in the past because it's the last year of this regularment, and it will be important to find a good base, a good performance, and try to have it all the season.
If you can imagine yourself in maybe 8 or 9 months when the season has finished and you reflect on the season, what would make you smile? What would be a good season for Pecco Bagnaia and leave you happy next off season?
I had a nice battle with the reference that I think will be Mark. Many riders are competitive, fast, so it will be important to be competitive from the start, fight with them, and try to regain what I lost last year.
And then finally, 2027, of course 2026 hasn't started, but 2027 is just around the corner. You're one of a number of riders out of contract. Have any discussions begun with Ducati? Are you keen to sign a new contract, or are you willing to wait for results and see the package that Ducati brings this year?
Honestly, I'm quite calm about it. I just want to start a season and think about the season because it's. I know that will be a big change, regularment change. Many riders finish their contract, so it will be important to have a good mentality on the championship. And then, if I'm quite calm about what will be next year.
Thank you very much, Pecco.
There we are then, the words of Pecco Bagnaia at the beginning of this 2026 season. It was very interesting to hear from him actually because he addressed the fact that he needed to learn from last season. And let's hope he has done as well. He was very keen to get back out on track as well once we begin test season prior to the actual season proper, let's say. And the poll is still open there. Will we see the best of Bagnaia in 2026? Currently at 76% for yes. So there's a lot of faith in Pecco Bagnaia in that Ducati red, and now Ducati white as well, with a fantastic little detail of white with those two lines as well. So Pecco Bagnaia, very, very interesting to hear from him. We've got a message here from the St. Thomas Virgin Islands. Good morning from St. Thomas Virgin Islands. Can't wait for the start of the season. I hope Pecco is back near the top. Well, don't we all, F1 buddy? Absolutely. What a message as well. We love you in Italy, Pecco. Show them who you really are. And 3 hearts as well from Francescare Tano. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but absolutely wonderful message. Really stunning, the new design of Pecco's number from Shin Ferran 12. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the details. We always say the devil's in the details, and this time around it really is. In that red, it's absolutely beautiful. Yes, of course, you can do it, Pecco. You do get the feeling that a lot of these messages are coming from Italy as well, where Pecco has, as he does around the world, a tremendous fan base. But he's an Italian rider on an Italian bike, for whatever Max Biaggi might try and say about it. So it's entirely normal that Pecco has this kind of support in his home country. Pecco will win soon. Absolutely, from Aditya Krishnawest Java. So a lot of faith in Pecco indeed in the comments, and why not? I mean, he's shown us he can do it before, so why wouldn't he be capable of doing it again? We're going to be able to hear from Chris very shortly with his final thoughts from Madonna di Campiglio and what has been an absolutely incredible event, I'm sure, Chris.
It absolutely has. I mean, we've had pretty much everything. A spectacular new livery celebrating a centenary of Ducati, and it is a really wonderful one. You can see it just here in the background. That's Mark's bike, the white stripe on it. We heard from Claudio Domenicali, we've heard from Gigi Dall'Igna. I think the connection during our interview with Dall'Igna cut out, but you can catch it on MotoGP.com. We've also heard from Davide Tardozzi, both riders. We've even heard from the bikes, Connor. It was nearly an episode of Night Riders expecting David Hasselhoff to appear at one point, but it was an absolutely wonderful presentation all told. I think everyone now is just very much looking forward to getting going in Thailand, to seeing some wheels on the ground. We mentioned already that Marc Marquez is the red hot favourite coming into this one. Pecco Bagnaia seemed very calm about his situation. Of course, Pecco really wants to challenge for that World Championship. He has to close that gap up on Marc, but Marc is a reference rider for Pecco, for the rest of the Ducati bikes, Alex Marquez, for the likes of Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin over at Aprilia, the KTMs, Yamaha and Honda. So, I for one, we're nearly done and dusted here. There's still a few more activities to come later in the day, but I for one am very excited for what 2026 holds for the Ducati Lenovo team.
As am I, Chris. Absolutely wonderful to hear from you. Great to hear your thoughts as well on the coming campaign. Thank you very much, and we'll let you get on and enjoy things in Madonna di Campiglio. Have a great time.
Thank you very much, Connor.
Great to hear from Chris Jordan, as always. So many insights to offer us as well, and if you were with us at the beginning, we got that little history lesson for Ducati as well. We can see the 2026 calendar on our screens now, beginning with Thailand. What an incredible race that's going to be. What an incredible Grand Prix, I ought to say. Then we move on to Brazil. Then we've got the USA, Qatar, Spain, France, Catalonia, Italy, Hungary. Absolutely incredible events. Hungary for their second year. Then we're on to Czechia, Netherlands, Germany, Great Britain, Aragon, San Marino, Austria, Japan and Indonesia as we get things underway on our Asian tour. We've got Australia, Malaysia, and then we get to the penultimate Grand Prix in Portimao, and things come to what I am sure will be a thrilling conclusion at the end of November in Valencia. So it's going to be absolutely action-packed this year. 22 Grand Prix for us to enjoy. I can't wait to get started, and I'm sure you can't either. But for now, it is goodbye from me.